Hello this week, me again, but not for long. Let's cross to the annual Brexit boat race. It's a tradition going back to the 19th century. And this year, so does one of its competitors.
You keep your oar out, McCoy. Now, like Brexit, rowing is all about groundwork and teamwork.
Teamwork?
Yes, back in the Commons on Monday, MPs held a second round of indicative votes to try and find a way through the deadlock, aka taking back control. First up, they voted on a proposal to remain in a customs union with the EU.
So the noes have it.
On another motion to effectively hold a second referendum.
So the noes have it.
On revoking Article 50 to avoid no deal.
So the noes have it.
And on a Common Market 2.0 allowing freedom of movement. But you've guessed it.
So the noes have it.
The failure of the House to find an agreement on a way forward prompted one MP to throw off his party life vest.
I have given everything to an attempt to find a compromise. I accept I have failed. I have failed chiefly because my party refuses to compromise. I regret, therefore, to announce that I can no longer sit for this party.
Oh, Nick. Nick, don't go. Come on. What's that?
OK, crew, strong and stable.
Funny how political class was.
Sadly for Team Theresa, support for her deal from MPs, now twice rejected in the House, showed signs of further wobble.
I quickly realised that I should not have voted with the government on Friday afternoon. If the Prime Minister cannot commit to taking us out of the EU on the 12th of April, she must resign immediately. Spring is here, Mr. Speaker. Time for a new start for us all.
Furiously, the Chief Whip Julian Smith took the blame for an unresolved Brexit to the captain's crew.
I'm knackered, dealing with colleagues 24/7, frustrated with the fact that people don't see the light as clearly as I do. Discipline is not as good as it should be. This is, I think, the worst example of ill discipline in cabinet in British political history.
Get it in, ready, go!
With that in mind, what better way to get out of deep water than hold a 7-hour cabinet? Afterwards, Theresa May appeared on the steps of Number 10, saying she was prepared to build a bridge over troubled waters.
Mind your backstops, ready, go!
I know there are some who are so fed up with delay and endless arguments that they would like to leave with no deal next week. I've always been clear that we could make a success of no deal in the long term, but leaving with a deal is the best solution. So we will need a further extension of Article 50. I'm offering to sit down with the Leader of the Opposition and to try to agree a plan that we would both stick to.
Come forward to catch.
Some thought this bait for Jeremy Corbyn, but he showed willing.
Ready, go!
We had a discussion and there hasn't been as much change as I expected, but we are continuing to have some discussions tomorrow morning. I put forward the view from the Labour Party that we want to achieve a customs union with the European Union. We want to have access to the market.
The Maybot strategy had risks for both sides. 2 of her ministers jumped overboard.
Order! Order! Bit of balance!
And some saw the talks as rowing back on Brexit.
The result will almost certainly be, if Corbyn gets his way, that we remain in the customs union so that we can't control our trade policy, the huge areas of lawmaking we can't control. And Brexit is becoming soft to the point of disintegration.
The Prime Minister said the biggest threat to our standing in the world, to our defence and to our economy is the Leader of the Opposition. In her judgment, what now qualifies him for involvement in Brexit?
And the teams are gearing up for the Brexit race. I think I can contain my inconsiderable excitement at this stage.
On Team Labour, Shadow Foreign Secretary Emily Thornberry rocked the boat when she emailed all Labour MPs saying that any compromise had to include a second vote. Well, that was music to the ears of the TIGs, now renamed Change UK, and to Nicola Sturgeon, who earlier in the day had met the Prime Minister. But Ms Sturgeon issued this warning to Jeremy Corbyn.
And off they go. Where Coburn stops, well, nobody knows.
I really hope Labour doesn't sell out here for a bad deal. In my view, it's absolutely essential that a second referendum is part of what Labour seek to discuss. I think I'd be pretty wary that I wasn't falling into the trap of becoming the handmaiden of a Tory Brexit.
Deal and no deal Brexit, they appear neck and neck, racing to the bitter end. Is no deal inching ahead? Do we even actually care anymore?
Indeed, whilst there was a cautious welcome from some in the EU to the compromise talks, others were more fearful of short extension after short extension. Oh, sorry!
Come on, Joe, don't let the team down.
12th of April is the final date for possible approval. If the House of Commons does not adopt a stance before that date, no extension, no short-term extension will be possible.
Let's update you on some proper action in the Commons.
I cast my vote with the noes. Yeah! So the noes have it. The noes have it.
Well, when I say action, I mean deadlock. A draw, if you like, on whether to allow further indicative votes, resolved only when the Speaker stepped in to cast his vote against. Where have they all gone? They're like rats deserting a sinking ship. The rowing team, I mean. I may as well go home.
Yes, we're all still here, bit wet maybe, but there's no conclusion to our Brexit race. It's just too complicated. And late last night, the Commons inflicted another condition on the government. A bill was passed with a majority of 1, which could force the government to apply to the EU for a further extension.
The House has tonight voted again to make clear the real concern that there would be about a chaotic and damaging no deal, and also to support the Prime Minister's commitment to ensure that we don't end up with no deal on April the 12th.
Great job, crew! Time to crack open the Blue Land! Yay! Woo! I thought the This Week mascot was Molly the dog, not Little Willie.